Hello, my name is Katherine and I'm a PhD student at Cranfield University, and I have a question for you. How would you go about cleaning something if you didn't have access to any water? Well, you might want to consider using something called plasma. So what is a plasma firstly? Well, there are three states of matter that most people are familiar with. You have solid. If you add enough energy, you'll get a liquid. If you add more energy, you might get a gas. But what happens if you keep adding energy to a gas? Well, you could end up with a plasma. So in a plasma, what happens is you have your atoms of your gas floating around, and if you add enough energy, eventually the electrons that are part of these atoms will get enough energy that they can break free from the atom that it's part of and exist on its own. So in a plasma, you will have lots of electrons flying around. You also have lots of atoms that are in various states of being ionized or excited. Now, you can do some really cool science with plasmas because all of the species in there can be very reactive. They want to be in a more stable state. They don't want to be just whizzing around on their own. So you can use that for cleaning because if you put a plasma on a surface that's got lots of contamination on, the reactive species that you might get in the plasma will knock into those particles of contamination and they can react and make them more volatile, which means they can then easily be swept away with another gas. You also in plasmas can have lots of radiation, so things like UV and also lots of visible light. And the energy from that radiation can also agitate particles. It can pull them off the surface that they're on. So with my work, I'm hoping to use plasma in an application called concentrating solar power, where people are using enormous mirrors to focus the sun's light onto a receiver. They generate lots of heat, and with that they can make electricity. But in order for them to be efficient, they have to be in places where there's a lot of sunlight. That tends to be desert areas, and of course in deserts there's also a lot of sand and dust, and that sand and dust can fall onto the mirrors, makes them very dirty, and then they become less efficient. At the moment they're using lots of water to wash them, but of course in the desert that's not very good. So hopefully I can use my plasma and I can help clean these mirrors and save the environment.